All right, let's do this, huh? Let's do this thing. So now what? Wow. I mean, we all were hoping it was coming. We all expected it to be coming after being up 3-0. But that doesn't take away from the fact of the matter being that just 3 straight years. Like the it being an expectation at this point is just what this team has become is just beyond me. So let's blow up this chat so I can see how we doing, Colin. Yeah, I saw that. AHL on AHL TV versus via Florida Hockey. I'll have to see if it's just a regional thing. Well, I guess we watched Austin's Fubo, so it is down there. We'll have to check that out. Thank you. They played game 2 tonight. Damien, feeling good. Icy, agree there. Job is not finished. Steven says, glad to be back, but some things to clean up. When and if we go against a high-scoring team, we could be in trouble. That first period was super bad again. Yeah, the middle of the ice giveaways, it was bad. Mythical says, I think we're fine. Tampa was the highest-scoring team, and the Oilers' Hyman is out for the rest of the playoffs. That's a big blow for them. It is a big blow for them, but at the same point, while Tampa probably scored more goals, I think Edmonton has, well, with Hyman out, it hurts, no doubt. But still, with McDavid and Draisaitl, they have guys that can take advantage of those turnovers. We've got to clean that up. Craig, exactly. A lot of work to do. Jameson, how you doing, bud? All things considered, we look to be in decent shape health-wise. Yeah, especially now especially if Dallas wins tonight, we're going to get like a week and a couple of days off. So, Reinhart looked okay last night. Mikkola, you could tell he was out there. He didn't play poorly, but you could tell he was protecting himself a little bit. And then we'll have to see how Greer progresses. And Lusterine Marie says he thinks he'll be okay, so that's good. Case, how you doing? Jason? Rosado, I do remember Shamu Rocks. Yes. We got many pictures from Shamu Rocks. Oh, real Tree dropped this congrats video? Okay, because Kyle was just telling me he hadn't dropped it yet. Michael, he says the dead silence in the game recap was priceless. Yeah, I went in there. It's just I didn't want to do that yell and scream, bitch and moaning. I didn't want to do that because I kind of had a hunch that they were going to come back and win the game. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to do anything that was going to change what I thought was coming in the second period. Ryan, how you doing? Green Loogie. Yeah, Case, the Barkov play, right? I mean, Orlov's a good defenseman, and Barkov just made him look like a kindergartner. He just held him off the whole time. And then that move, I guess, was it backhand, forehand, or forehand, backhand, whichever order it was, the move that he made when he cuts in front and switches the puck and gets the pass over. I mean, it's in between 3 Hurricanes. And they just all watch the pass go over in amazement. And Verhaeghe's just like there, hi. He's just there like Forrest Gump. Hi. I just beat you guys. Michael says, well, now we have to go up against the Oilers that were probably ended tonight. Do we get Samo in for Greer? Probably Boquist. I don't think, I hate to say it, but I don't think Samoskevich gets back out on the ice unless we really get deep into the lineup with injuries. Jason says the fact that we played pretty meh yesterday and won is crazy talent. We want to. I agree there. Yeah, Trey says Dallas, stars. Yeah, Ryan, the same thing. Although if Dallas was to come back and win this series, they just beat Edmonton 3 straight. Wouldn't that make them pretty dangerous? You know what I mean? I do feel like Dallas will win this game, though. Just give us an extra couple of days. Hell yeah, Jamal. Matt. Michael says they put Ekholm in for Hyman, so it's not that big of a loss. Right, they swapped. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Coot says the big boys really showed up yesterday. Uncharacteristic game from Gus, but it's great we were able to bail him out. Don't expect to see him play that way. Yeah. I mean, everybody has a bad game. It's weird that it happened that way, but yeah, everybody has a bad game, and we still won, so we're good. RJ, how you doing? Yeah, just never talk about that first period. What first period? I don't remember anything. Jesus. Kyle says, after seeing the Panthers so far in the playoffs, it's safe to say the Leafs are the second best team in the East. Yes, that's easy. That's an easy call. I would agree with you, Kyle, for sure. I think if it wasn't for Florida, Toronto makes it to the finals this year. Molly, I believe it doesn't matter who we play. I believe we start on the road. Rosado, you had the most possible points in the bracket? Dang. So far, you think the Capitals would have beat the Leafs? Oh, no, man. They were pretty cooked. I don't know. But it's one of those things we'll never know, right? Real, yeah, the Bennett penalty with 3 minutes left. Because we can't do anything easy. We just can't do anything the easy way. Ryan says the Oilers losing Hyman is a huge loss for them. It is. Think about it if it was Florida. Like if we lost Hart or Verhaeghe, like we'd probably have attitude of, you know what, we got guys we still feel good about. You know what I mean? So I wonder that's how Oilers are looking at it. Derek, how you doing, bud? Colin says the Caps sent an email out to season tickets holders saying next season will be always last season? Really? Oh, wow. That's one way to sell tickets. Rosado still want me to do the Maroon 5 cover. Andrew says the expectation for the team is really different. We need to appreciate how great this team is. Yeah, no doubt. You see him out there with the difference in the celebration last night. It was barely, they were like, all right, we got to take this picture. You know what I mean? Smile. Yeah, okay. I mean, it was just completely, they have one on their mind. Case, yeah, this was shockingly stupid. Michael says Barkov destroyed 3 skaters and made Anderson look silly. That was unbelievable. Kenneth, how you doing, bud? So he says, question about the Oilers. Better for the Panthers. Oilers win game 5, fly home, and then play them. I need to fly and play the Panthers or travel or Stars wins game 5. So you're asking. I'd rather the Stars win tonight. If Edmonton wins the Cup, the final on the 4th. If the Stars win tonight, it starts on the 7th. Considering the health of our guys, I'll take the extra 2 days rest. So go Stars tonight. Edmonton's not going to blow the series. So Stars tonight and just give our guys just a little bit of rest. If you're Edmonton, you have extra motivation to win tonight because you don't want the Panthers to get rest, in my opinion. Coot says the Cup final should be interesting considering the Panthers and whoever from the West will have opposite home road splits. We're better on the road and the Oilers Stars are better at home. Right. Lil J thinks the Hyman loss gives Edmonton more motivation. I mean, a lot of times teams will raise their level of play when somebody's out. That's true. So Florida slash and the Lundell penalty was crazy. Yeah, the refs were a little bit involved last night. Rosal, you asked me if Rhino's been invisible. No, it's not. It's not you. He's out there making plays. He's just not. He's tired, in my opinion. Jamal says, "Where there's a Mikula, there's a way." Yeah, he played, right? You could tell he is protecting his shoulder a couple of times. Derek says, is Jeff Skinner getting dressed for the Oilers? Probably, I would think, right? I don't know who else they have, though. Great White says, why is Bob not learning? Coming out of the crease for the one-on-one shots is not working. Aho did it two times and beat him. And he beat him on his body, right? He beat him on his body. It's funny, Great White. My dad texted me after the second one saying that my mom was complaining that Bob was too far out of the crease. Silva said the only way Mackey gets on the ice is if Swaggy is out. You're probably correct there, yeah. Exactly, Mr. Krabs. The team has to clean up the turnovers. Dana, how you doing? Yeah. I know Dana's happy this morning. I know Dana's happy this morning. She don't have to it's a lot of stress. Yeah, you in full doomer first period, I'm sure. Yep. It was really starting to look like Edmonton all over again. Silva, yeah, Gus did not have a great night. It happens, right? Hungry says, fun fact, if Columbus makes it to the Stanley Cup final before Toronto, the entire Eastern Conference will make it to the final since the last time the Leafs made it. Wow. Jeez. Yeah, Jameson, if the Oilers win tonight, yeah, it goes to Wednesday. And if Dallas pushes, then it'll start Saturday. I vote for the Saturday one. Krabs says, I swear Bennett scoring on the empty net goal coming out of the bench was his plan all along. Yep. I don't remember it either, Jamal. I don't know what everybody's talking about. I don't know what this first period thing is. All I know is we had a 3-2 lead going into the third. I must have been asleep during that period. Silva, yeah, the embellishment, right? Yeah, there was a couple of calls. The refs were a little bit more active than I expected yesterday. Not that it went one way or another. There was a couple of calls, though, that they had to make. I mean, we tackled a guy by the neck, then Lundell basically got tackled by the neck. Hey, Molly, yeah, cardiac cats. Ain't no joke about that. So, Simon, I can't imagine Edmonton's going to blow that series. Edmonton's going to win it, in my opinion. But I hope Dallas wins tonight. SoFlo, definitely Barkov. Definitely Barkov. Greg says Hyman was leading the playoffs in hits. He had 109 till he went out. Yikes. I won't miss him. I hate that he's hurt, but Green. Yeah, his nickname is Hot Ride. Yeah. Derek, lots of doomers in the first. No doubt. I raised my hand. I was like, when it was 2-0 and we came out and still didn't look great in the beginning of the second period, I was like, these guys are already on to game 6. It is such an amazing difference in the energy that these guys can put out It's crazy. K Double says Oilers fans looking forward to a rematch if we get it done tonight. Yeah, I'd have preferred to play Dallas. If you guys could do us a solid and just like, you guys don't want to win the cup. Come on. It puts a lot of pressure on you guys to win it a second time. I don't want you to have to deal with that. So do us a favor. Let Dallas win so we can have our second cup. That way we don't feel the pressure of having to win a second cup, and neither do you. I think that seems fair. So Simon, I can get fishing next week because we're going to have some 80s. So for the members, the fishing, the podcast will be a lot of fishing next week, especially since we won't have any Panther games, most likely. Well, maybe on Wednesday. We'll see. Wednesday, Friday, yeah, that would track that way, yeah. Michael. All right, geez, my internet again. Okay, it looks like it came back. I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom because I know I'm way behind on the chat. Colby, how you doing, bud? I think Dallas is going to win. But then again, I thought Dallas was going to win the last game. I think they're going to do us a solid. I hope so. There's with sports, Colby, it's like the intuition in one hand and the hope in the other hand, and they sometimes get mixed up. You know what I mean? Alechka says, I hope Skinner will be complete shit in the final. Rosado, no, we're going to be streaming a lot of classic football games. Rosado's asking about for the summer. We're going to be over on the football channel streaming classic football games a few times a week. And then I'll be on the men's channel with some streams over there. And we're still going to be here. We ain't going to be here every single day at noon on the hockey channel. But free agency will be here. We'll be here. And then once things calm down with free agency, maybe I'll take some days off. Mason says being on the road is good. I agree. Holy crap, what's that? Holy crap, thank you, Great White. Thank you, bud. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Rolly says, hold on. Chat's going so fast. This is for the live fluffy show I missed last night. Thank you, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Great White. Man, you've just been something else. I really appreciate it, genuinely. Kyle, if you guys get a chance to watch, I put out this morning, I put out the highlights from the stream last night. So Kyle had a pretty good couple of one-liners. He was calling the game when the Barkov goal happened. So that was good. Thank you again, Great White. Thank you, man. Kenneth says, Jaws, I think you're going about it wrong. Don't say the pressure of the Oilers winning 2 cups in a row. Use the arguments Oilers don't want to be the Buffalo Bills. Yeah. Panthers become the first team ever to win 4 cups in a row by beating the same team 4 times. That's mean. Just saying that out loud, that's mean. That's probably hurtful to some Oilers fans. Jeez. Oh, my God, if these 2 teams – how are you going to eliminate one of these teams? Like, forget about the intricacies of each game and all of that. If either one of these teams gets down to where they're going to be eliminated, good luck. Like, I still don't believe Game 7 didn't go to overtime last year. Leska says Dallas is so disappointing, or are they overrated? Oh, I almost said both. Maybe a little bit of both. Leska, maybe a little bit of both. They disappoint me with their energy level, but I'm a Panther fan. So maybe I'm spoiled, right? Maybe watching the Panthers play over the last few years has kind of given me a false perception of how other teams should play. You know? Colby says the Panthers are the best road team in the single NHL playoff run to this point. Not even the former dynasties were this dominant on the road. That's outstanding. Yeah, I don't mind being on the road. I wish we could at least just be adequate at home. I guess we've been adequate at home. But I wonder what happens. It's that second game at home gets us. Dana says, I'm going to paint some rats, put like little jerseys on them, but I'm not very talented. So I got to figure out what to do and what kind of paint and stuff. Yeah, I'm no help there either, Dana. I'm not. Me and art is not my thing. Mason says you don't need to hold on a second. I just lost that comment. Dang it. It went all the way to the bottom. Dang it. I wanted to read that too. Jeez. Okay, he says you don't need to call it classic football just because Skinner is letting in touchdowns. Nice. Well done. Hey, you got vlog. If we win the cup, do I think Bob will retire? No, he's staying. In fact, I think if there was even any modicum of chance that he would ever retire, it would happen after we've lost. I don't think he'll retire off of a win. I think he would always want to try to come back and do it again. He doesn't. I think he's going to sign an extension this summer. Occam says the Oilers have won enough. Dana, we are living the dream. There ain't no joke about that. I mean, like I said in the recap last night, this is not me taking credit, by the way. This is me just in amazement of the timing of it. But since we started streaming the games, we've been to every Stanley Cup final. Like, I would have never in a million years been like, hey, Kyle, maybe if we start streaming the games, they'll make it to every cup final. All right, okay. And that's 3. It's 3. Come on now. That's absurd. Colby says the Panthers are the 70s Steelers. For 30 years before their dynasty, the Steelers were the joke of the NFL and had attendance issues. That's actually a pretty good analogy because that's how Pittsburgh would win their games too. Michael says the karma of the Oilers becoming the Bills would be fair. The coach basically called the Panthers the Bills. I remember that. Hey, Simon. So, I got into this. The guy that used to do the Panthers videos, Lucas, Rats on the Ice. I was friends with him on Twitter. And another buddy of mine, Jeff. And I kept saying, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make some videos. And like, go ahead, do it. And then after the summer when we traded Gabranson and Kulikov and signed Yandel and did the whole analytics thing, and then we fired Gallant. Well, I started the channel about a week, 10 days before we fired Gallant, so I had good timing. First video was in the back of my van. It was horrible. Oh, Krabs says, I'm not a Stars fan, but that team is pissing me off. Yeah. Hey, Rick. How you doing, bud? Appreciate that, bud. I hope so, too. Colby says, just like how people used to say hockey in a tropical paradise wouldn't work, people used to say, why is there a football team in a factory-ridden city? Interesting. I didn't know. So that might be a video subject for a video, Colby. Oh, we got some. Hey, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, bud. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated, bud. He says we look really good right now. The first period was just us trying to make it just for us to make it interesting. I think you guys jump on the team too hard. We play chess. Come on, very calculated. You know, Andrew, I'm going to agree with you. Now, what I'll say is this. the Panthers earned they earned the credit, but they also earned some of the anxiety for the fans by letting Edmonton come all the way back in the series, right? You're up 3-0. You get a little nervous as a Panther fan. So I think that's why people jump on them like that. But what's interesting is if you watch the post game, a couple of the guys talked about how they knew Carolina would have like that 10-minute space of time at home where they were just absolutely dominating. They said they actually went back and watched the previous series and noticed that Carolina had like a 10-minute spot of time in almost every game where the crowd was crazy and they were dominating on the ice. And their idea was to just survive that by getting down by no more than 2 goals. And so what you're saying about being very calculated, I'm not saying they let them do that in the first period, but I think they kind of knew that was coming and they kind of just went with it and didn't panic. Like us fans, we can panic, but they can't. Michael says, just like I was not allowed to watch that game where the Kings would score, I had to watch it from the NHL app. Olechka. Yeah, I know. Olechka's like, we took them to 7 games. I know. Toronto wasn't as far off as the fan base really thinks. How they lost those games, I grasp that, but it was still game 7. Green Loogie says, still pumped for the Cup final, and we have a Winter Classic to look forward to. It's awesome, and there's just so much that's been happening that's going on in the lore, the history of the Panthers. Yeah, enjoy this, man, because you just don't know how long these runs last. Yeah. Silver says we got to praise Ekblad last night. He was better than Forsling. When's the last time that happened? Very rarely. Very rarely. Thank you, Great White. It is good juju for the Panthers, right? I mean, it's like just incredible how everything is turned around with this team and everything. It's just this one, if at the beginning of the year, what I said was they were going to repeat. And it wasn't a hockey reason. It was because, damn it, I was selfish. I'm like, I want a clean experience because they won last year, and you guys know what was going on with Fluffy. And it's really weird now, guys, because you know how Google sends you your 1 year ago memories and all of that stuff. So like, while we're winning now again, and I'm not going through that stress, every day on my phone, I'm getting like a notification of like what was going on a year ago. And it's just like, I don't know what energy source I was pulling from back then, but they need to win again so I can have a cleaner experience of what it's actually like to win. Michael says Canes fans were mostly great and classy. 1 or 2 were annoying, but the Leafs fans were more bad than good. We haven't, since I changed everything here to subscriber only, things have gone pretty well. Kenneth says 3rd time's the charm. 22-23 picks Panthers. We lost. The last year picked Carolina. We won. And now I picked Florida. Yeah. Hope so. Al says the Stars need to win today. We could use the extra rest for sure. Real says it exactly. He says last year we won the first 3 against Tampa, then lost game 4, then 1 and 5. No one would be freaking out, including yourself, if it wasn't for the Cup final. Yeah, because after game 4, we were like, whatever. We'll win the Cup at home. Fine, Edmonton, you can win a game. We were all like, whatever. And then that didn't work out so well for us. Kazuma says, hey, Jaws, would you say it's harder to be a goalie now than back then? And do I think if the Panthers win the Cup, Bubba should win the Conn Smythe? So the back end to that question is I do feel like if we win and Bob continues to play this way, like you're probably looking at a Bob Conn Smythe. I wouldn't count out Sam Bennett, though, depending on how the series go. If we end up playing Edmonton, if we end up having to outscore them and Bennett keeps elevating his game, that's my, what's that called? A dark horse pick. But in terms of, do I think it's harder to be a goalie now than back then? Yes. And my main source of reasoning is that back then, if a guy even had a toe in the crease, the goal was disallowed. The goalie basically had the entire crease to himself. Goals that had nothing to do with the guy's foot being in the crease would get called back on a regular basis because the front of his skate blade was in the crease. So I think now that the guys can basically, if you don't elbow the guy in the back of the head, you can basically be in the crease for the most part. I think that's got to make it way harder on the goalies. Damien, yeah, Ovi's retiring after next season. Interesting. Hey, Vanish, afternoon. Feels like I keep coming back here disappointed. I know, man. Well, hey, there's still one more series, right? Still one more series. Appreciate that, though, bud. Carter says, start a GoFundMe to bring Kyle and myself down here for the Winter Classic. Well, we'll see how it works out. What I'm trying to do, the goal is to be able to close up this house for a month and get an Airbnb and be down there for the whole month of January. Now that's a pipe dream that I have no way of knowing how that's going to happen. But I didn't know how I was going to get down there last year, and we made it. So what I do know is that between the gas and the electric, closing up this house in the month of January saves me $1,000. So just by not being here for the month of January, I save $1,000. So if we could somehow find a way to put together to be there for the whole month and just work from there. That's the goal. And then we'll see what life brings me. That's it. Pente, yeah, what a roller coaster. Hey, no joke about that. No joke, man. Colby, yeah, that's a good idea. RBJ says Forsling definitely didn't have his best game. Nope. That's for sure. But that's cool. That's cool. He has one bad game like out of every 40. So that's good. That one's out of the way. Oleshka says it was a fluke. We didn't take them seriously at all for a couple of games. Rested during the games. You're talking about Edmonton? Or you're talking about Toronto? You say Toronto still sucks. You were on the they weren't crying like Lisa. I'm reading what Michael's talking about. Yeah. I don't have to clean shave, Rosado. Thank God. Thank God. Nobody wants to see that. So, Jay Miami, if the Oilers win, the first game is the 4th, which I guess is Wednesday. And then if Dallas wins, the first game is on the 7th. Mason, if Dallas doesn't win tonight, you probably miss game 1. That sucks. Yeah, the Canes fans, I mean, that building is crazy. Oh, no, Michael says, I have to shave. I'm getting a divorce and need a new job. Damn it. Damn. Yeah, exactly. The Canes fans weren't booing their team or throwing jerseys on the ice. One wild and crazy guy. Yeah, I mean, no disagreement there. Kenneth says if a guy had a foot in the crease back then, Hextall took care of him, right? Yeah, totally different game. I mean, same thing with football, right? Like you see, like, can you imagine what Marino would do if nobody could touch him? I mean, Marino every third play was just getting plastered by Glecko, Gastineau. Who was the other guy from the Jets? Bruce Smith, Cornelius Bennett. I mean, every third drop back, Marino would just absolutely just get pummeled. And now he could just stand back there with impunity and find guys. Can you imagine? Coot says, seeing as each round a different group of guys stepped up each round so far, and they're all close, I think it's pretty safe to say that whoever plays the best in the Cup Finals will be our Conn Smythe winner. Yeah. Eyes wants to know, is this Panthers team better than last year's Cup winning team? Smarter. So I love Nick Cousins, but we don't really have anybody taking the one stupid penalty every game. Okay. Montour, loved him. I think Schmidt doesn't have the physicality, the physical ability, but you don't see Schmidt pinching when he shouldn't pinch. Montour would get us into trouble every once in a while. Having Marchand on the team over Tarasenko is, in my opinion, the difference. I don't think this team gets to the finals again without Marchand. Watching what's happened so far, Marchand has made such a tremendous difference, not just with Lundell Luosterainen, but on the PK, and just whenever we need energy, man, he's just like a little firebug out there. I think of all the pickups that Zito has made, Marchand really, really has made a huge difference. Kazuma says we can't play like this the way we did in the last two games against the Oilers, or they'll drop 10 on us. John says, ever since Game 3 versus Toronto when we changed our fourth line, these guys have been amazing. Right. What the hell? I got a bug. I got a gnat in my eye. Simon says, I guess you can stay here all summer, and I guess you got to go. And so that's the hope. That's the hope, Simon. That's the hope. Some of that's going to depend on how well the football channel does. If I can get the football channel to where we're making some money, that will probably put me over the edge for it to be able to happen. So as soon as hockey's over, we're going to be knee deep in the football channel, try to get that moving again. Patrick says, different subject, but thoughts on the Marner rumor to the Panthers. I think there's as much chance of Marner going to the Panthers as me getting called up to be hired as the video coach. That's how much I take credence into those rumors. His salary isn't what we would do. His play style, it would be like paying for Huberdeau all over again. You know what I mean? It just would not make any sense for us to bring him in my opinion. Hey, Kyle. Michael says, I think the Panthers set the record for most hockey played in 2 calendar years, and we kept setting the record for most hockey played consecutively. Huh. And don't forget, like Kenneth said yesterday, because the Panthers won that series in 5 games last night, it was still less hockey than it took for us to sweep them in 4. I can't believe none of those games went to overtime. I thought yesterday was headed that way for a while. Yep, Communist officially going to play the last game of the season. Do I see the Flames making the playoffs? Depending on the goaltending, right? I mean, the Flames are a definition of a bubble team. The Flames are kind of what the Panthers were before we started getting good in these last 4 or 5 years. they're a team that if they got hot, they could make it, but I don't think they would be able to make any noise. Yep, Frosty, no doubt there. Frost, yeah, without Martian, they wouldn't be here. Hey, JC, how you doing, bud? Great White says, can I please ban the annoying Leafs fan? We did our best. We did our best, Great White. Right? So Fly Guy says, my Panthers conspiracy theory is that all the DQ advertisement is to lure Dairy Queen into giving Marchand a deal to make it easier for him to take a team deal in contract negotiations. It's actually a really good idea. That's actually like the public subs. That's actually a really good idea. Yeah, I didn't want to leave him out. Because having Jones on the second pair has also helped. The only move that really hasn't worked was Sturm, but it's still nice for the extra depth. Yeah, I understand what we were doing with Sturm. I can't really explain why he hasn't played all that well. But yeah, the Jones and Marchand thing, especially, we're not here without those moves. Thomas, I would think we'd rather play the Stars. Because I would normally say you wouldn't want to play Otter, but Skinner's playing well. So I would think because of how much hockey the Panthers have played and how Edmonton can run circles around you if you're not playing properly, I would think that the Stars would be a better matchup for us, but it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. When are we getting a watch party at the house, Rosato? We have a watch party every night at the house. I know what you mean. IDK, yeah, no, we can't. We got to clean up the turnovers for sure. Simon, as far as the injured players, I think everybody will be healthy. Maurice said he felt Lusterano would be fine. The only one we really don't know about is Greer. So if you can't put Greer in, I think you'd just see Boquist there. So I feel like we're going to have a full lineup, which is good. Saddle says, get a huge projection screen inflatable for the backyard. Will Marchand treat me to do? Yeah, have Marchand bring me the cup if Chucky won't do it. Damn it. Derek says Bennett is worth more than Marner. Marner's going to go to Chicago. Hey, thank you, Eyes. Thank you, bud. Thank you, bud. He says we need a 9,000 subs celebration stream with confetti and pancakes. Let's save that for 10. Well, I'm already at like 91 something. Let's get 10. We got a Stanley Cup final. Let's get 10. Right? I mean, that might be pushing it, but I don't know. Let's go for 10. Hey, Axu. Ryan, that's the big question, but whatever's going to happen, I know Zito's going to do the best possible job. Jackie said Leafs insider had Carolina looking at Marner, but Florida's on his list. He wants $13 million, but rumored he'll accept 11 from Florida. Then Bennett to the Leafs for 8 and Marchand to the Leafs for 4. That I can't imagine that would happen. Because if we were going to spend that money, we'd give it to Bennett and Marchand. If we were going to spend that money, we'd give it to Bennett and Marchand. If we had to trade Rodriguez to do it, I know we got to sign Ekblad, but I can't imagine in a million years why we would give Marner 11. And this is not a I'm not criticizing, but where does he get whoever that is? Where do they get that information, or is it just something they're making up? Is that, I mean, you know, Marner suddenly becoming the highest paid Panther, more than Barkov? That don't sound right to me. Sticky hockey guards. Yeah, props to the Charlotte Checkers in the Calder Cup playoffs. Yeah. Kachukin says we should sign Vladar if we can afford him. If not, Alex Lyon. Oh, we've blocked plenty of them, Michael. We've blocked plenty of them. But you can't block them until they say something, and then they get blocked, right? Yeah, Seth Jones. Yeah. Hey, bunch of jerks. How you doing, bud? Yeah, man. You guys, at least, I mean, I don't want it to sound a certain way, but at least you guys did win a game, right? Like 0-16. I don't know what you guys can do other than just wait it out, because you guys keep trying to get offensive talent that would help you, but then they won't stay, and it's got to be frustrating for you all. Kenneth. Holy crap. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Paul. Holy crap. He says, good luck, Panthers. We want the cup. Vamos Gatos. Thank you, brother. Much appreciated. Holy crap. Thank you, bud. Axel says, I think Stern need a full year at 4C like Nosek. I hope we re-sign Nosek. Thank you, Paul. Thanks, bud. Rosado. Oh, boy. I love your energy, Rosado. If only I had the energy to do the things that your ideas. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, guys. Craig, yeah, we talked about that before. I think it was you that brought it up, said Sturr may just play better versus the Western Conference team. Yeah. Axu, I agree. Nosek looks a lot better. Wasn't he like coming off of an injury, Nosek? Maybe that's why he's looked better towards the end of the season. Michael says we should just flip-flop Bennett and Ekblad's salaries and then have the money to sign Marchand for 1 year and lock him up the $20 million cap space we have in 2 years. That's not a bad idea. Whatever, I feel like Zito's going to cook. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but especially if we win again. I can't imagine if we won again that either one of those guys, Bennett or Ekblad, would want to leave while they have a chance to win 3 straight. So it's possible that whether or not we win the cup again plays into the decision that they're going to make. Like, I know there's all that money, but if you have a chance to win 3 straight, that's going to be tough to leave. Thomas wants to know if the Stars can come back and win the series against the Oilers. Probably not. Probably not. I don't think Edmonton, I just can't imagine Edmonton getting eliminated with Florida sitting there already waiting for them. Like, that's a lot. And I just can't trust Dallas to do that. JK said, I wonder if Marchand would sign a 1-year contract with lower AAV and performance bonuses. I don't know. I don't think he would want to do 1 year. I mean, we could, I don't know. I honestly don't know, to be honest with you. Casp, yeah, Reinhart wasn't 100%. He wasn't 100% for sure. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, Nosek was coming off a knee injury. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Eyes. We want 10. Joseph, I agree with you about Sam Miskevich for sure, but we'd likely see Bolquist, right? Rosado, I thought about doing that, but I can't. I talked to the theater and the internet in there. The Wi-Fi is the internet in that theater is not good enough to try to do that, unfortunately. Yeah, exactly, Silver. Swaggy got his swiggy back or backwards. Right, I see what you're saying, Jackie. But we can give Bennett 8. We have 19.5 million. We can give Bennett 8. Toronto's going to have to do better than that if we have the money to give Bennett 8. Unless Zito is going to pay Ekblad and lose Bennett, which yikes. But Florida has the money to give Bennett 8. If we're not going to try to sign Marchand, we could find a way to pull that off. Yeah, exactly, Michael. Michael, yeah. I get what you're saying about Nosek. Right. No, he's looked. I hope we can re-sign him now that we've seen how much better he's looked. Wherever we've had to put him, he's really looked good. He's kind of been, shall we say, almost like Stenlund, right? Where you had to move him around and he played well for you. Rosado thinks Ekblad would be a priority over Bennett. Maybe. Trey. John says, last year I mentioned this could be a 2-year run. Now, how does this look run now going forward? I think that if we win it again, the motivation to win 3 straight could really be strong. I think if we lose, there'll be a certain loss of an edge of the energy, and it could be another little bit of time before we get back. I don't think this core is only going to win 1 cup. I think if they win this time, if they win the second one in a row, I think they'd be a real threat to win 3 in a row, pending, do we keep Bennett? Can we keep Marchand? Does Tkachuk need surgery? Some things like that. But I think a lot of what's going to happen depends on if we win the cup or not again this year, to be honest. Real, I know. Yeah, we still had some Leaf fans coming to troll us here. I see. Savovi wants to go to Russia. Gotcha. Kachuk says, Bennett is really important to our team, but he's only worth big money with us. I actually don't think he can get more than 8 somewhere else. And why would he want to leave? Hey, Fireborn. Yeah, you guys can have Marner. Marner's a perfect fit for Vegas. Marner's a perfect fit for Vegas. Paul says, let's focus on winning the cup, then we can worry about re-signing players. Amen. Amen, brother. Yep, Zito always provides, right? Yeah, good point, Cade. We got Marchand, he's recovering from injury too. Silva says, Nosek has raised his game at the best time. Guru and Gadjevich are great, but I want to see Sorda from the 4th line. Probably. Although somebody told me Guru and Gadjevich have contracts to next year. Is that true? No, Axu, he did not get on the ice in the 3rd period. He did not. Kate says 3 straight might be stretching it. If we win this one, that'd be cool to me. Oh, yeah. I mean, no doubt 3 could be stretching it. But if you win the second one, you have that, you know what I mean? You have that chance. So there's a lot to go through. There's a lot to see how it's going to play out. Tkachuk has looked pretty good at times, and other times not so much. So the assumption is he's going to need surgery after the season. He could just sit there. We talked about that. Let Chucky rest the whole year. Get his nuts right. You know? Can you do that? Can we here's my Panthers conspiracy theory. Chucky goes and has surgery immediately on the LTIR right after the season ends. We extend Bob 2 years for $6 million, immediately giving us the money to pay Bennett, Ekblad, and Marchand. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And just saying. Right? David says, what's the earliest you expect if Edmonton wins, we play Wednesday. If Dallas wins, we play Saturday. Wins tonight. I don't know that, John, about the players getting bonuses for winning rounds in the playoffs. I do not know. I don't think so. Al says TSN projected Bennett will get $10 million, but is speculated will take $8 million to go to Toronto, as she's from Ontario and wants the Leafs to win a cup. Unless it happens, I'm going to call it a bunch of wishful thinking. That's all I can say. Bro Bolt says if Edmonton beats Dallas, I hope Florida completes the repeat. Appreciate that, bud. Oh, and tip it for Mackey. I says, I don't want to get Jaws' hopes up, but I saw a report on Bleacher Report says the Flyers might be shopping Owen Tippett this offseason. Where the hell would we put him? So, Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Tkachuk, Samoskevich, Lundell, Lusterine, and Tippett. Where's Marchand? Michael says letting Tkachuk rest the whole year and using his LTIR is not a bad idea since it's the last year they're allowing the LTIR loophole. Is that right? I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that, Michael. Pro Bowl thinks Marta would more than likely go to Anaheim. I just can't imagine him with the Panthers. So Simon, yeah, it's a good question. He's asking about the handshakes. Maurice actually talked about that and explained it. He's talked about how he doesn't want the coaches to be in the handshake line. So when he got with Berube in Toronto, they agreed to not be in the handshake line. He thinks the handshake line should just be players only. And so that's what the thing with Brindamore was last night, was he was asking him to not shake the players' hands because he felt like it should just be the players shaking each other's hands. So I guess that's when he first talked to him about it, and he didn't talk about it beforehand. So that's what that was about anyway. Whether the what? Oh, not good on the road in the Cup finals. Well, let's see. Last year we won. Right, I see what you're saying there. And then in Vegas, right. Yeah, that's something to look at. I understand what you're saying. Hey, Amanda. Oh, where did I miss? Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me scroll here. Okay, hold on a second. Holy crap. Holy crap. Jesus. Thank you, Michael. Oh my God. Brother. Holy moly. Woo! He says, we'll always love this channel and just got that E5 paycheck. So here's to you, Jaws and Kyle. Keep it up. And I hope this channel continues for a long time. Win or lose this final years is a dynasty. I think Marchand and Bennett stay together and get Samo his first, please. Damn, thank you, Michael. Oh, my God, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I never did hit E5. I never did get to E5. Thank you, Michael. Holy crap. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't see it immediately. Usually StreamYard gives me a big balloon, but it didn't show up that time. I didn't because I have my chat, like I said, I have the chat blown up, so I can only see like 2 or 3 comments at a time. Otherwise, I'd be sitting here in my glasses, and you guys don't want to see me in my glasses. Thank you again, everybody. Holy crap, man. Wow. Jeez. I hope Donna's not watching this. She's going to expect me to take her to dinner. I'm kidding, sweetheart. I know you would never expect that. Oh, my God. Thank you, Michael. Oh, my God. So I'm scrolling from the bottom up. Silva says, gold jaws with a clean-shaven beard would be hilarious. No. I look like a crackhead. I look like a crackhead. I'm too skinny. My face needs the weight of the beard. It's not like I'm ugly or something. It's just I look, my opinion, I look better with the beard. I've been told some people think it's better without it. It is what it is. Weather Low says, just wanted to warn you so you won't be mad if we lose the next round. Don't worry about it. At least we won last year for a 4-game sweep. Yeah. Hey, look, Adonis said a super chat as well. All right. Thank you, Weather Low. Yeah, I understand. I understand completely what you're saying. I am totally in realistic mode. Okay, so hold on a second. StreamYard is not showing me. Usually I get a big balloon that comes up when somebody sends a super chat. They're not showing it to me, which is why I'm missing them. So just hold on a second. Bear with me so I can get back to it. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Adonis. Thank you, bud. Thank you, buddy. He says, what a time to be alive, Panther fans. Enjoy this series win, but then move on to real business. Let's keep that cup in South Florida. Yes, amen. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Adonis. Much appreciated, buddy. Yeah. Thank you guys for letting me know, because StreamYard must be having a glitch because it's not showing me the super chats. Okay. Real says, I'll be mad if we lose to the Oilers. Now, don't want to be the first team in decades to lose to a Canadian team. I had not thought about that. Real. Huh. Yeah, there's going to be some of that USA, Chucky versus Canada aspect to the series if it goes that way, isn't it? Interesting. Did I hear what DeSantis? No, I didn't hear what DeSantis. No. Wait, there's another one from Amanda? Hold on. All right, hold on a second. Bear with me. Okay, let's see. Yeah, because StreamYard's not showing it to me. Here we go. Over here. Okay, so we had Great White. We had Andrew, which, by the way, remind me to tell you something. It was Paul. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Amanda. Much appreciated. She says, hey, Jaws, let's get the job done. I expect a lot of anxiety in the finals. Go Panthers. The anxiety will run high. There's no doubt about that. No doubt. And then there was Michaels again. Thank you, brother. Adonis. Okay. I think I'm caught up. All right. Let's try that again. Woo, boy. So, Brother-in-law says, I hope it goes 7 games for Dallas. We're due for one team to come back from 3-1, right? Yeah, I mean, how many game 7s have there been? It's not a lot of game 7s, right? You had the Panthers and Leafs. What do we have? 2 game 7s in the first round? I think that's it. We only had 1 in the second round, and I think there was 2 in the first round, right? It's not been a whole ton of game 7s in these playoffs. And the conference finals obviously have not been, I mean, Carolina gave us a fight, but there hasn't been a real, even when Dallas won that first game, you could kind of tell that might have been an anomaly. You know what I mean? Do we have any Stars fans in here? What's going on with your team? I don't think I've ever seen a Stars fan come in and check in on us. Oh, yeah, I got to put another story of life out, Rosado. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, in fact, we might start with that this week since there won't be hockey every week. Kenneth says, Dallas, Colorado, Jets, Blues were epic Game 7s. That's right. That's the weekend that Kyle's bracket got blown up. And both times his team blew the lead. That's right. Yeah, they made it worth the fact. Ruthless Barracuda, that's cool. Charles, I'm excited for the young players for the Sharks in the future. Yeah, Nick Twist the Wrister, big fan of the channel. He does, he's a Sharks fan as well. And I know he's excited, especially he was really excited about getting Celebrini. And hopefully the Sharks can pull it off at some point. If there's a fan base that deserves it, what the Sharks fan base has been through with all the almosts over the years is definitely them. Plus, they got really cool jerseys. Yeah, brother-in-law. Yeah, I hope Dallas puts up a fight. No doubt. Rosado said, "Whatever happened to Puck Monkey?" I haven't heard from Alex in a while. I haven't seen him. I'm not sure if he's of the age where he would have gone to college at this point. Not sure. Maybe. I haven't seen him in a while. Hey, thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda says, thanks for all the donations. You guys make this all possible. Thank you again. And that is the truth, man. That is the absolute truth. We have a lot of stuff planned for next year. We're still going to have the recaps. We're still going to have the streams, still going to have the noon streams. But we have a lot of new stuff coming on board next year. I've got the proper support system at home. Unfortunately, I don't have the extra time to care for the dogs. So this channel is going to look a lot different next year. Still be the same. It'll still be a blank stare for 45 seconds if they play like that in the first period. But there's just going to be a lot of additions to the channel that's coming up next year. So I'm looking forward to that. Silva says, are we going to get more edited videos next year? Well, some of what's going to happen, like you notice I put out the highlights from the stream, right? So when I put those out, I can't monetize them because they've got the highlights in them, right? So, but with you guys doing the super chats and the memberships, I don't have to worry so much about, I can spend an hour putting out a video that I'm not going to get any ad revenue from and make it up and new people join in and everything like that. It just took a while for the channel to get to that point, So yeah, there's going to be a lot more videos next year with highlights that are involved. I've got a couple ideas for like a different type of daily video that's more NHL based in the mornings before the noon stream. There's going to be a lot more content next year. Yeah, good point. Weather and Low says, hope this game goes into triple overtime. We're due for a triple overtime game. It's been 2 years since we've had a long hockey game. That's a good point. Yeah. Not in the Stanley Cup Finals. Okay. The only way I will accept the triple overtime in the Stanley Cup Finals is if it's the Panthers are up 3-0 on Edmonton again. That's the only way I will accept that much stress and anxiety in my life. Hey, Kucherov. Kuch says, hey, Josh, let's the Panthers start a dynasty so the cup work stays in Florida and you're chilling for once as a Bolts fan, right? And Tampa's not done. Tampa's not done. You know what I mean? They got better with Gensel. If they could add another piece, as long as are they ever going to get a viable? They need to get a backup for Vasilevsky. I've been saying that for years. They play him too many games, and you would think they'd figure that out now. The way he's not been great in the playoffs, Vasilevsky should be like 50 games and get rest during the season. Yeah, Rosado, it's going to be the 10th year, so I'm really now. I'm invested. I've jumped off the bridge. I have no choice. So if I have to put a different video out every 30 minutes, I will. No, but it's going to be a lot different. Rufus said, yeah, the Sharks have a lot of cap space too. Yeah, you guys are set up. The Sharks are definitely set up. And the West, outside of Edmonton, right? The West has got some beatable teams. Colorado's good. Dallas is good. Vegas is good. But they're beatable teams. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Simon. Appreciate that. Zada, do I still need an assistant? I have one now. But I don't want to get too far. I don't want to go making announcements during the regular season, not specific things, right? We'll just put it that way. Kate says Vasilevsky ain't Bob, not the same conditioning. Well, Vasilevsky plays a lot more games. Hey, thank you, Great White. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. He says, let's help Jaws get a bigger fishing rod. Oh my God. Great White, if you only knew the conversation I had been having earlier this morning. Unbelievable. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Great White. Yeah, Andrew. So I'll say this again at the end, not at the end, but I said this at the beginning. We're going to have some 80-degree days next week. So I have a members podcast coming out today. It's just short. But next week's members podcast is going to be a lot of fishing again. And hopefully I can get do I have another? Maybe I'll put it on my head. I've been wearing the chest mount. Maybe I should put it on my head, wear the head mount, because the camera was a little bit low. I'll have to think about that. But next week, we're going to have a lot of fishing on the members podcast because it's going to be like 80, 82 for a few days. And since there won't be any Panther games for a few days, I can get out there. So I'm looking forward to do that. Sean, yeah, Ovi's done after next season. Yeah. Fireborn says, Jaws, I thought about it. And if Marner's in Vegas, him and Mark Stone could work. Yes, that's the perfect place for Marner to go. It really is. I mean, I'm not even being sarcastic. Rosado, yeah, there's the 10th anniversary special. We'll put it that way. Yeah. So Simon, he's asking about the Puck Bockers podcast. We just haven't been able to get together on our timing. Paul works a lot. And I know he's trying to get Starlink on the boat where he works so we can do it. We've had a couple times where we've had it scheduled and then it couldn't happen because he had to work. So I don't know how much of that is going to happen right now until he gets Starlink on the boat so that we can just get on a more consistent schedule. Rufus, yeah, I know. The bad seasons, it's hard. It ain't easy, man. Brother-in-law says Florida's teams are due to not go to finals after 6 years. Do I agree? I mean, somebody's got to take it. Wouldn't that be something, though, if, like, when Florida stops going to the finals, it's Tampa that goes back again? I think the league would implode. Right? Can you imagine that if it ended up being Tampa whenever Florida's done? Jeez. We'll see. All right. I got to roll. I got to go get the eBay pack and ship done. Got to get the house ready. Now, we will be live tonight at 8 o'clock. We're definitely streaming the game. I believe Donna's going to be here tonight, so we'll have a little bit extra fun that way. And then I'll still be live tomorrow at noon. If Edmonton wins tonight, I'll start working on the series previews. Now I've got some ideas. We're gonna have some different kind of videos in these next 4 or 5 days, kind of testing the waters on some things that might happen next year. We'll put it that way, since I'm gonna have the extra time, especially in the evening, now that the Panthers are done playing for a little bit, right? Almost a week, I guess. And but the noon streams, I'll be live noon. The only day I would miss, well, you know what? Screw it. I'll just be live at noon every day. Why even miss? Why even miss, Jaws? Why bother with that? So we'll be live here at noon every day from here on out, probably until free agency dies down. Because whenever the cup ends, we're still going to be, like immediately dealing with free agency and the parade. I'll be able to engage with that stuff this year. Guys, last year I wasn't able to make content with any of that stuff last year. So if we win this year, I can be engaged a little bit more. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that, man. We win this one for Fluffy. You know what I mean? Best Maroon 5 song. Best Maroon 5 song. There's a song on their original, the first album, there's a live song. There's the live song, I forget the name of it, the live song, the last song on their first album. That's the best, that's, in my opinion, that's their best song, but I forget the name of it. And in terms of, I hate to see Hyman hurt, Andrew, I really do. I don't want anybody, this time of the year, you want to beat the best. You hate to see anybody get hurt, Jameson, yeah, last year was for Ellie. This one's for Fluffy. Yeah, you got that. All right, everybody. Thank you all so very much for all the super chats. I cannot express to you the life that you all have given me and Kyle, and it's tremendous, and we ain't stopping. No worries there. Now that we can add a whole new thing coming to this channel and the football channel. So, all right, everybody. Appreciate all the support. Thank you all. And we will see you tonight at 8. Yeah, Not Coming Home. Thank you. That's the one. Yeah.